This is Johnny and Jose with TigerBomb MMA, and we'll be going over the recap of UFC 264 McGregor versus Poirier. Interesting stuff happened. We'll begin from the bottom to the top, but Zalgas defeated Jerome Rivera via submission round number one. So I picked Jerome Rivera. He was looking pretty good. A lot of nice leg kicks. It looked like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get the underdog pick. And then he pretty much pulled a HD Pat Barry. He got in there, got clipped, and got submitted. Usually, when you pull an HD Pat Barry, you get knocked out. But I guess at this point, man, Rivera's out of the UFC. I don't think they're going to give him another shot. But Zalgas looked strong. That's all I can really say about it. Like he wasn't incredibly impressive. He was eating a lot of kicks. He was getting beat up by the taller guy, which I predicted would happen. He didn't seem very aggressive, but he got the win. He got the choke. It was a deep choke. I mean, that is like a nearly impossible choke to get out of, especially if you're up against the cage. So props to him. What are your thoughts on that fight?
That was pretty crazy considering the height advantage or disadvantage, I guess, however you want to look at it. But Zalgas, man, you know, he made it. He made Jerome. Is it? No, I shouldn't say he made Jerome clap. Like Nalgas, he made him clap.
I mean, he did
made
tap.
him tap.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
go.
But yeah, man, Zalgas, he did what he had to do. I mean, I think the line was a little bit too was like at least one something too high. I think it should have been like the odds should have been maybe 150, 160 or something to Zalgas, but minus 300, and above was way too high. But he got the job done. Here's to the little guy. This was a what do you call that? What's that old tale of something in Goliath?
David and Goliath.
Yeah, this was
I wouldn't go.
Zalgas and Goliath.
I wouldn't go that far to call Jerome Rivera Goliath.
Well, I mean, in stature,
Yeah.
not so much as in he was the superior fighter, which uh yeah, looks like he's back to square one. He's got to get his stuff together to get back into the UFC after this, I think.
Next bout was at middleweight. Brad Tavares defeats Omariak Medov via split decision. Very close fight. I I thought deep down, I'm like, maybe pulled it off because there were some moments that he was like clearly winning, but they were too few and far between. Like he would land the harder leg kicks, it looked like, because it would really draw out a reaction from Brad Tavares. He would hit Brad Tavares and he would like stumble back and make it seem like, holy crap, I'm getting hurt. But overall, Tavares really landed more. He was the more aggressive fighter. The takedown defense, damn, that takedown defense was really the killer because his get up game was good. That first round, Omari got the takedown. He popped right back up. If Omari would have landed maybe a couple more takedowns, maybe two or three more, I think he would have edged it out because it was very close. Clearly, though, it was a decision for Brad. They got the right decision. Deep down, though, and I'm like, please, God, let there be that one judge that values the appearance of damage over everything else. But nah, just one of them did. But good for Brad. Like he's on a really nice win streak now, beating two pretty good grapplers. We'll see how he does with another striker. So we'll see who they pair him up with. I can't think of anyone they can pair him up with. Maybe, possibly, he can try to get a rematch with Edmund and try to get that one back. I think it might be a little too early, but we'll see. It's a possibility with Edmund having two losses in a row and then Brad coming back having two wins in a row. But we'll see. As for Omari, dude's tough. Just cardio issues, man. If you can't get that takedown, his striking looked a little off, but we'll see if he can recover maybe with a win down the line. But it was a good showing overall. Very close fight.
I think this was a tough loss for Omari. I think this is probably a tougher loss, I would say, than his Chris Weidman loss. I mean, he did lose to Weidman, right? If I
Yes, he
recall.
did lose to Weidman. Yes, he did.
That I think that was I think maybe a less what is it, less painful pill for him to swallow, or I'm not sure how that goes. But I think yeah, this he's probably having a hard time swallowing Tavares. Take that however you take that for what you will.
All right. Next fight was at flyweight. Jennifer Maia defeats Jessica I. The one thing I'll say is that I'm disappointed in myself because everyone on Twitter was going for that Jessica third eye joke, and I thought I was so original. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be the first one to say it, and then no, everyone else caught onto it. That nasty ass cut, man. I was worried because I'm thinking, are they going to call that a no contest because she had that nasty gash in her effing forehead that because it was caused by a headbutt, it could have potentially been a like game changer where Jessica I and Jennifer Maya go to a no contest due to accidental headbutt. But man, Jessica I kept going. I'm like, at least the very least, she's super damn tough. Did not even let that bother her. Good for her. Jessica or Jennifer Maya, I should say, she had a pretty decent game plan just countering. And when she would land, it looked good in the eyes of the judges. But to be 100% honest with you, I can definitely see a different pair of judges, a different group of judges, I should say, giving that to Jessica I because it was very close by the numbers. Guarantee you, though, that damage that she sustained is what gave Jennifer Maya the win. Good fight overall. A little concerning from Jennifer Maya though that she didn't even attempt multiple takedowns. I don't recall if she even attempted one, but I will also say Jessica, I don't count her out. I know she's on a couple, what maybe four lose streak or so, 4 fight losing streak, but we'll see. They might give her a lesser competition, maybe picking her. Hopefully, she's an underdog. Then Jennifer Maya, frankly, she's solid, but she lost a bit of stock with me a little. Just she got the win, good for her, but she did not make that fight look the way it should have looked. It was just too close in my eyes. So good for her, but we'll see what the future has for Jennifer Maya.
I'd say let's wait until Jessica I is on that 7 fight losing streak, because then she might be able to turn things around. But no, she's done, dude. She's 34. She is beyond where she, should have reached her peak like maybe a decade ago. She never, she never bothered correcting nor improving, uh, you know, items that could have made her world champ because she has decent striking, but she never bothered putting it together with the grappling and the wrestling. Had she, I think she would have made a decent what is it a decent rivalry with Amanda or even Valentina at this point. She'd be in the conversation as like the third girl. She's like competing with them at that highest level. She might even be champion. She might have even taken. I think she might have been very capable of taking the at least the 135-pound belt away from Amanda and beating some girls there spectacularly. But unfortunately,
I can hear the comments right now losing their fucking minds. Like,
she,
what did he say?
yeah, well, like I said, I think she might have had the potential because I see she has okay, at one point in her career, she had okay boxing, okay footwork, but I think she got caught up too much with her limited fame. It's like she gets a little bit of recognition, and then she's like, oh, she's Ronda Rousey all of a sudden. She's like she's almost the equivalent of what's this girl's name that's fighting Amanda next? She's gonna get her ass beat
Oh,
into a pulp.
Venezuelan vixen Juliana Pena.
Yeah. So she's on that Juliana Pena level, where she thinks, she thinks she's on Valentina or Amanda's level, but they're not, unfortunately. So sucks for them. I don't know if they're going to keep her around. If they do, she's going to be, somebody's punching bag, probably. I don't even know who's in this division, to be honest. It's women's MMA. So if you bet on this, and if you bet on Jennifer Maya, good for you if you won. But it's women's MMA, and anything could have happened.
Well, you did hear about Jessica I's protein like egg deficiency, right? That's like the oh, we'll give her another shot. I guess she was having a major diet consisting of just eggs or something like that. I don't know. I didn't wasn't paying attention, but I heard eggs and egg deficiency, and then she ate eggs, which was causing her to perform badly. So I don't know if that's true or what the hell, but I just thought that was interesting to bring up. Like,
That's
interesting.
just that sounds like that's just another horse meat story, like
Uh
Overeem
just the
with
opposite. Like
horse meat.
the horse meat's
He's,
making Uberim, and then
yeah,
the eggs are making I guess black eye.
yeah, she's Jessica Black Eye, instead of how she's known around circles as Jessica Brown Eye.
Let's move on. Dricus
Yeah.
Duplessis defeats Trevin Giles round number 2 via knockout. I'll say this though, I underestimated Dricus Duplessis, but I will say this: Trevin Giles deserved to get knocked out. He pissed me off, man, because he was doing well. The first round was interesting. Like the scrambles were pretty nice. Like Dricus really showed his ground game, and Trevin Giles actually showed pretty decent like submission defense and recovery from getting back mounted. It was a fun first round, clearly going to Dricus. The second round was looking good for Giles. I think I could be wrong. I was at the casino watching the fights, and it looked like he hurt Dricus Duplessis. And the reason I say I think is because right after Trevin Giles gets knocked the fuck out by I think a right hand, and that surprised me, man. Well, for one, Trevin kept his hands down. He was styling a little bit. He was looking good, man. His footwork was good. He was loose in there, and Dricus looked super stiff and like uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's just his style because I particularly said he looks stiff out there. He looks uncomfortable. He looks like he's nervous. But am I wrong? Is that his style? I haven't seen a whole ton of his tape, but yeah, he looks super awkward out there, which makes me wonder. I'm like, something's off with this guy. But if he touches you, it's good night, man. I did not expect him to knock out Trevin Giles. It's one of those things like I am wrong for picking Giles to win, but Giles got knocked out, so I'm a winner. That was fun to watch. For Trevin Giles, man, he has to learn to respect his damn opponents, no matter who they are, because you can see that he thought like, yeah, this is going to be easy work for me, and it particularly could have been if he respected his opponent. Good for Dricus. I mean, I'll keep an eye on Dricus Duplessis because he's fun to watch, man. I'll give him that. His ground game is pretty damn nice. So I'll give him his props. But dude, again, looks super awkward out there, and it just kind of concerns me a little bit. But what were your thoughts on this one?
Don't really have much. I wasn't too high on Dricus coming into this. Um, I did. I want to say Marcus Perez because that's who he beat.
Maluko,
Marcus
yeah,
Perez. Why does that ring a bell?
Maluko, Joker guy.
Oh, oh, this is the idiot. Yeah, he's that. He's that guy. Um, yeah. So he beat this guy. Um, his first time out in the UFC, and I wasn't, at that point I wasn't too high on Dricus just because that guy's garbage. And so I was like, you know what? Let's see, let's see how he does against somebody else. Maybe a little bit less of an ass clown than that guy. And he did okay. I think he did well. And even now, I'm still not completely sold on him. Uh, but I think he's, uh, I think at this point he's got a lot of potential. Um, don't really know too much about his camp. But I think if he keeps on, improving his grappling, his wrestling, because I think he's got the striking, he's got the potential, to be really, um, I would say, for sure, top 15 in the next couple of years, top 10, depending on how the division goes. But yeah, this guy, I think he's got the potential to be exciting for sure going forward. But I'm actually looking forward to talking about the next fight because everybody was pretty high on Ryan Hall, but I was like, no way.
Yes, man. This fight again at the bar. and I made sure that I had sound watching this one. Ilia Topuria defeats Ryan Hall knockout round number one. Ilia Topuria was just the more intelligent fighter that day. And the thing about Ryan Hall is that his game plan was absolute trash. And it was like, okay, I understand, like that's his world, but he made himself too damn predictable. And that's what happens, man. Like I said, he deserved to get knocked out, not because he was attempting Minari rolls, because he attempted them so frequently that Ilia just easily was able to stuff and defend. And then props to Ilia, man. I knew that if he got either in side control or even in guard, that he would hurt Ryan Hall. And the way he did it, man, he waited for his time. He grabbed him and pounded him out. Ryan Hall out cold. It was awesome. I getting flustered even remembering it. It was just an awesome moment for this guy. I'm just worried about Ilia Topuria getting shot up too quickly. Maybe like giving him a shit. Imagine like, oh, you want to fight Max Holloway? I'm like, hell no, stay away from Max Holloway. As for Ryan Hall, yeah, he's gonna recover fine. I think he just found a guy that didn't respect his game plan and then just went after him, knocked him the fuck out. But yeah, Ryan Hall will be back. I'm sure he'll get another submission because most of those attempts were pretty solid. But again, Ilia Topuria was just too damn smart that night. Very excited to see both of these guys back. As for Ryan Haldo, I'm gonna replay that knockout after we're done, dude. I just keep thinking about it. I'm like, damn, I should probably rewatch that. It was awesome. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good fight. I am very high on Ilia Topuria. I think I think him as well as Giga are the best of this group from Georgia that's like starting to, really make a name for themselves on the scene. And I think if he keeps improving at this pace, he's going to become a legitimate contender in the next year or two. Unlike, that guy, what's that guy's name? With the weird lip that
Oh,
like he
Hamzat,
beat, yeah, Kamzat,
more like
you know,
Cans Matt.
yeah,
Come shot Chimaris.
yeah,
uh,
this guy, he came on the scene last year in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or wherever the hell, and he beat three tin cans, and then all of a sudden he's like the next champ. But then he got COVID and he couldn't get a fight, and he turned down Luke Rockhold. So mind blown. A lot of question marks on that guy. They try to push that guy as like, oh my god, he's, you know what I mean. But I'm like, we need a break. But Ilia Topuria, I think he's going about it the right way. Or they're going about it the right way with him, giving him one opponent at a time. He this time he faced a good grappler in Ryan Hall. Next, maybe he'll face a good wrestler or even a good striker or a guy who does a little bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, right now I think the sky's the limit for this guy, and unfortunately, that means that he might be the favorite, like a pretty heavy favorite going forward. So it'll be nice to bet on them, but now they're going to raise the price on this guy. We're going to have to, maybe find a knockout or submission. What is it?
prop.
Prop to bet on him. Yeah, but he's 24 years old and he has not reached his prime yet. So I'm excited to see that. He's. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm not going to say what I think he can become in the future.
The next fight at welterweight, hell of a fight. Nico Price versus Michel Pereira. Pereira wins via decision. Pretty easy, cut and dry decision, in my opinion. I know a lot of people, the crowd, were like, should have been Nico Price, should have won, or at least a 10-8 for Nico, but I did not see a 10-8. There was no possibility for a 10-8 in the third round. So right decision, right call, Michel Pereira. He won that fight. First two rounds, he looked great. His movement was excellent. He did slow down a bit, which was concerning, but that's because Michel did what he does. He did a goddamn backflip in the second round. He expended too much energy trying to like get the crowd on his side. He didn't need to do that. And there was a moment there because in the predictions, I'm like, hey, watch out for Michelle if you bet on Michelle because he might do a backflip and then Nico kicks him or he punches him in midair for a split second when he did that backflip when Nico was on the ground and Nico, I believe he did an upcake. I'm like, oh my God, if this happens, I'm gonna talk so much shit on the internet. I'm the greatest. But oddly enough, it was the opposite. Michelle landed on Nico's face, which it didn't look like it landed hard, but enough to cause a reaction from Price. And I was terrified that the ref was gonna stop the bout and maybe take a point, but it didn't happen. They didn't see it. Pereira goes straight to mount, just controls him there. And then the third round was chaos. Nico went after him. Very fun fight. Michelle, man, these live crowds are hectic, man. with Michel Pereira, he's so talented, but if the crowd gets in his ear and he's like thinking to himself, like, "What do I do now? I'm winning the fight. Backflip," and then he gasses out in the third or whatever. That's always a something to keep an eye on. But man, he looked good. Nico, of course, looked good. I think both of their stocks rose. Of course, Michelle gets a win, but Nico Price establishes himself as a guy to watch regardless, win or lose, blood and guts type of fighter. He will always fight for your money. Beautiful fight. Loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a typical Pereira fight. He does, he's a very athletic guy, but he's very showboaty. He likes doing that, especially in the big crowds, with the big crowds. But the odds were, I guess they were pretty spot on. He wasn't that big of a favorite because of, he could potentially turn one of his knucklehead moves into like a knockout, for the other guy, could knock him out, while like you said, like while he's doing a flip or while he's trying to do some other stuff. It's like, oh, hey, boom, here comes a knee. He's out like a light, a very, I would say a more talented, precise striker could take advantage of that. Unfortunately, Nico Price is neither of those. He's, I guess, what you call, I don't know if he's a fan favorite necessarily. I mean, I'm okay with the guy. Nothing really against him. He does what he does. But yeah, I really don't have much more to add, than you did.
Well, moving on, Max Griffin defeats Carlos Condit via decision.
I know this one hit you hard.
Oh yeah, dude. Like my ritual that I performed to the Dark Lords did not work. I'll put a picture of what I did. I posted it on Twitter. I'm like, I guarantee Carlos is gonna win. I sacrificed a Dan Hardy, and I guess I should have sacrificed something more. Maybe one of my signed. Yeah, I should have sacrificed my signed El Kukui. That would have probably cost. Because what's funny, dude? Because when I did that shit as a joke, of course, like I put some tape down on the floor, made a pentagram, and I lit some candles. My fucking power goes out. I'm like, fucking.
Oh man,
There's a storm, and I'm like, all right, fuck this shit. But yeah, maybe I didn't do it good. But yeah, Max Griffin defeated Carlos Condit. He did well. He did really good the first round because I'm thinking, man, like I'm a Carlos Condit ride or die, but Max Griffin's doing well. Then the second round, I'm like, oh shit, Condit is doing really well. He's winning this round. He won that round. And then the third round, the dreaded takedown of doom comes in the like later seconds. I'm like, no, it was really close. Condit could have edged it out. And I'm not saying that because I'm like on his balls or anything and I'm drowning in his specialty coffee. It's that he looked fine, right? He looked like he could beat Max Griffin, but Max Griffin just had a better game plan and looked a lot sharper. He did well enough to beat the veteran in Carlos. He didn't fall for any of Carlos's like little tricks. He did attempt, Carlos said, is that like sneaky little head kick multiple times, but it no avail, didn't work. That sneaky takedown from Max Payne Griffin. Those leg kicks he was landing were super hard. And I don't know if they hurt Max as he was throwing them because Carlos didn't even seem phased, even though he was like spinning around. But yeah, we'll see what Carlos has next. I'm gonna try harder to summon some darkness next time. That way he wins for sure, for sure. And for Max Payne Griffin, man, we'll see where he goes from here. He just beat a veteran. Maybe they'll give him him versus Miguel Baeza would be really fucking cool because Baeza's coming down on a loss. I think that'd be a perfect matchup. I'd love to see that. For Condit, I don't know. I don't know where he goes from here. Hopefully something fun. Just keep giving him fun fights, guys in that age bracket, 36 and above. But yeah, that was a frankly a shitty fight in my opinion. It was not the greatest, but Carlos Condit, ride or die. I'll always be optimistic about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of what I expected. If I recall correctly, I did pick Max Griffin to win reluctantly. It was all business, nothing against Condit because he's an OG. But yeah, but I think Condit's reaching that point where I'd rather not see him fight than see him lose to these like really low level guys because I'm honestly not super high on Max Griffin. I don't think he's top 50, even top 15 material. And for Condit to be losing to guys like that, I'd honestly rather not see him fight because uh, they showed Chuck Liddell in the audience. I forgot who they showed, and they're like, and next to him is the legend Chuck Liddell, and then he does a stupid thing, and then he's doing all these signs, and I'm looking at that, I'm like, God, I feel sorry for that guy, still trying to live out his glory days, well past I'm like, that's what I don't want to see for Carlos Condit. I want him to have some pride, walk away knowing that he's one of the best to ever do it. And he gave possibly one of the best fights ever against Robbie Lawler. Back when Robbie Lawler had his resurgence. Condit it could be very well argued that Condit should have won the title.
Oh, he did.
But
He won it.
yeah. Well, I mean, from Lawler,
Oh, he did. He won it.
Yeah.
They didn't award it to him, but he won that fight.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
But unfortunately, things didn't go his way, and haven't since. And he doesn't have that. I don't know how to put it without insulting him and any Conditites. Is that an okay term for any Condit fans?
I'll allow
Conditites.
it.
Conditites. Is that killer instinct, man? What's his name? Dan Hardy. Surely remembers. Who's that guy? Not Do Hoo Choi. He's another
Dong
Korean
Yong
dude.
Kim.
Dong Hyun Kim. I'm sorry, I didn't. I remember he was Korean for sure. But he remembers, Condit's flying knee, and there have been others, but anyway, he doesn't have that which he had back then, and why that is, only he knows. I don't know all the specifics in his life, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but he doesn't have that anymore, and so I think, I mean, sure, he loves fighting, but like I said, I'd rather see him coach or something, or do something else. But I don't want to see him lose to these tin cans. I don't want to see him, go out the BJ way, BJ Penn. That is not BJ's. BJ's.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind going the BJ way.
Yeah.
Our next fight at bantamweight was Sean O'Malley defeats Chris Montino. TKO third round. I'll tell you this. So I was at the casino. They had some betting windows there. So I'm like, I have like $20 on me. I'll bet it all on round number one, knockout. Not even knockout, just round number one for O'Malley. And I even considered like maybe I should do like maybe round number two, round number three, just spreading it out. I'm like, no, stupid. It ain't gonna go that far. Round number three, knockout. I was like, son of a bitch, dude. Like I was just like pissed because like I'll be honest with you guys. Yeah, he got the win. He got the TKO, but anything less than a round number one knockout for Sean O'Malley was a loss, in my opinion. I don't care what the record says. Like, if anything, the star of that fight was Chris, because he was all anyone could talk about. It wasn't, oh my God, Sean O'Malley TKOs a nobody. It's like Chris Montano lasts 3 rounds with Sean O'Malley, which is like props to this guy. He went out there, He took his ass whooping like a man. He did not quit. They could have stopped the fight in the first round, which would piss me off. He really pissed me off about Sean O'Malley is that he knocked him down, really clean knockdown. He could have finished the fight with strikes with seconds left, but he goes for a guillotine choke without even having it. Like, you're not going to get it with that amount of time without preparing for it, without like setting it up. Like, bothered the hell out of me. A couple harder strikes and he would have won, but he didn't do it. He gets a win and then he calls out all these dudes. I'm like, it's a bad look. And then of course the quote unquote controversy about the stoppage. It wasn't a like terrible stoppage, of course. Like, yeah, the fighter safety is always number one. What pissed people off and myself is that if you're not going to stop it in the first round, when he was, in my opinion, the most severely compromised, you stop it in the third when there's seconds left and he's still on his feet and he's still walking forward. Now I rewatched that and I understand. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, oh, Herb Dean did a shitty thing. They shouldn't have been done. It's just the circumstances, of course. Like, we want to see this kid continue go all the way to the third round, to finish the round, that is, and go to the decision instead of having that TKO on his record and the referee stops it. But he took a ton of damage. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, harumph, horrible. But, deep down, of course, you kind of feel a little sorry for the guy. But dude's a badass. I can't wait to see him again. Of course, give him lesser competition because I do not want to see that. You can see that he is super tough, but super tough does not equate to, being UFC caliber. We'll see him next, hopefully in a couple months, give him some time to recover. Maybe go to, I don't know, Thailand to get some plastic surgery for his ass whooping. But he has the money now. I'll say that he can be a star after he gets a chin implant or something. Not necessarily saying that his chin is bad. I mean, like, they can reconstruct his chin to look like a movie star. But good for him. What was your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the referee shit the bed on this one. Should have let it. Should have just let the fight complete. I mean, if he really wanted to save this guy's brain cells, he should have stopped the fight in the first or second round. So the ref fucked up. I think it was Herb Dean, right? No,
I think so. Yeah, it was.
it was probably her. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Herb Dean, man. Did anybody smell him for alcohol and cigarettes before, during, goddamn matches? Jesus. But yeah, this guy's tough. I think he earned at least one or two more fights in the UFC, but they for sure have to match him up against somebody at his, in his kind of skill set range, experience range. I'd like to see what he actually has to offer because, if he can take those limp-wristed jabs from Sean O'Malley for 3 rounds, then I think, he's got the potential to make for some exciting fights. I'm hoping he learns some head movement, some actual, footwork, some defense, because taking all those punches can only get you so far. And I don't want to see this guy with any brain damage or anything because, I don't want to see him, calling out Mick, like, hey, Mick, what you doing? Anyway, that was a bad Rocky impression.
I was going to say, I don't want to see him Benoit himself.
Oh yeah, sure.
That got dark. Oh dear.
Yeah. Or we don't want to. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to move on to that guy. Yeah. So I look forward to Chris's next fight. I hope they do give him somebody in his experience range. And O'Malley, I hope they. I don't know who they're going to match him up against. I guess he's pretty high on himself, which is fine. He's starting to become a semi-popular guy. And yeah, good for him.
The next fight, Renee Aldana defeats Yana Kunitskaya via first round knockout. Awesome, man. Good for her. It looks like all the, I don't know, maybe some of that Maheta substance might have rubbed off on Irene Aldana because she was super aggressive. for missing weight, like you kind of forget, like, oh yeah, she missed weight, boo, and then she knocks out Yana Kunitskaya. Is like, what weight, what weight miss? That was pretty shitty of her though. She was like what 4 pounds over, but she made up for it at least when it comes to the violence portion of it. Not really much to say about it because of, I mean, it was what it was. Like she took her to the ground. Yana really didn't have much other than maybe I think she went for a leg lock. I wasn't fully paying attention. I was eating at this time, so forgive me. I just remember seeing is that Renee was on top and just blasting her and blood everywhere. And then yeah, she got the knockout. So good for her. We'll see where she goes from here because she is proving to be a pretty solid overall fighter at bantamweight. I don't think she's ever going to fight for the title. Maybe she will once like Holly Holm retires and Amanda Nunes just decides to hang it up and be a family man. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, awesome. Yana, man, not more. I got nothing for her right now. I don't know who they match her up with. Maybe the winner of who was I thinking? There's a fight coming up soon between two quote unquote prospects. I guess not. No, we'll see. I was thinking of her fighting Aspen Ladd, but Aspen Ladd already beat her ass. So back to the drawing board for her.
Yeah, it didn't really have, I don't really have much to say other than I'm disappointed in Yana. Looks like all that extra protein she got before the fight didn't really do her much good. I honestly thought this was her fight to lose. I thought she had a better skill set to win this fight. Coming in here, I know what's her face. Irene had better hands, but I think overall, I think Donna had a better MMA game. But looks like she got overly, I don't know, man. She got overly hyper and overly like wanted to do all these techniques, and I was like, "What are you doing? Just
You're
stick to your bread
right.
and huh."
You're right. Yeah, I think she was a little too comfortable on the feet. And it was it a left hook that dropped her? I think it
Yeah,
was. Yeah, that
she got
patented
she forgot
Mexican left hook.
she forgot her defense. She was trying all. I guess she saw the Michelle Pereira fight. She's like, okay, I'm going to try some of that, and she tried all this stuff that just isn't really what's led her to victory in the past. And I thought, oh, well, that's dumb. She's she depleted herself to make weight, and she's making all these stupid moves. I was like, all right, I guess let's just wait for the kill shot, and lo and behold, kill shot round one, and she's dead. And she left all that protein on the ground for Greg Hardy to absorb in the next fight we'll talk about.
Well, the next fight, uh, Tai Tuivasa defeats Greg Hardy round number one knockout. So all I can say about this is that Greg Hardy, HD Pat buried himself. Yeah, he buried himself real good because you know those cartoons or those memes where it's like I have one in mind, but I don't think I can particularly explain it. But it's basically the oh call an ambulance, but not for me type of moment
Yeah,
where he hurts Ty and then he goes in there full fucking heatard and then he gets cracked in the face and he goes down. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, because I picked Greg Hardy to win and he was looking pretty solid, man. Had he have not gone full HD Pat Barry, he would have had more hype and less die. And yeah, man, that sucked because like I'm rooting for Greg Hardy in a way. I'm like, hey man, he's trying to improve himself, trying to be a better fighter, trying to be a better man. Can't hate on the guy. People want to see him get knocked out. I'm probably one of the few people. I'm like, hey man, let's try to give him give him a break maybe, but not a whole ton. Just come on, man.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Tai Toivasa, I don't want to say he proved me wrong because like he looked fine. He got the knockout. The most impressive thing that he did was that he shot that shoe down his gullet with the hot sauce, and then he fucking started making a face like, ugh. Just like yeah, that hot sauce is all right. I guess it's not super. Goddamn, Poirier's hot sauce is like overrated. I'll say that right now. Like it's fine. Yeah, it's okay. It's just sitting in my drawer. But yeah, man, Tai Tuivasa, he got the win, got the knockout. really elevated himself. What's cool about it is because anytime you beat Greg Hardy, like feel what you feel about him. When when you beat Greg Hardy, your name is in the paper on Yahoo Sports the next day because Yahoo hates Greg Hardy. They make goddamn sure to like bury him every fucking time, which is kind of why I feel a little like, oh, poor guy. Everyone's shitting on him. But no, man, good for Tai Tuivasa. I'm trying to think maybe a who would they match him up with for real? Uh, actually, that'd be no, because I'm thinking maybe a fight with what's his name,
Volkan.
Rosenstrike.
Okay.
Nah,
Oh
no,
yeah, Rosenstrike. Yeah.
Rosenstrike would be cool, but I think we'll get to that if they make it. But Rosenstrike versus Tai Tuivasa would be fun. But
I
yeah,
would say maybe lower level guy, maybe Chris Dawkins or one of those guys. I mean,
oh,
you don't want to murder Tai Tuivasa, you know,
maybe I do.
or maybe you do. I guess.
I think. Do you remember that knockout
Oh,
junior?
I know.
Oh,
Sorry, I know who they should match him up against. El Guapo. What's his name? Luis Espino.
oh shit, that would be super cool.
That would be an interesting fight.
That yeah, dude.
I was gonna say King Kong, the other guy, but that guy lost all my
Montel,
respect.
the
Huh? You know,
Romanov,
yeah,
not
Romanov.
not Dontel Mays.
That
I got you.
no, that guy lost my respect, man. Romanov. He might as well change his name to the Black Widow, because Natasha Romanov.
Uh,
Yeah,
but I was gonna say that
he's
that knockout. When I was gonna say about having what's his name knocked out, Tai Tuivasa, it always reminds me of when JDS knocked out Mark Hunt, and on Sure Dog, the main picture was of Mark Hunt looking like an androgynous blob monster on the ground. I was like, oh no, like I love Mark Hunt, but that was like a savage ass picture. So I'm like, maybe we get to see another one of those with Tai Tuivasa.
that's pretty funny.
But co-main event, Gilbert Burns defeats Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Yeah, this
Um,
fight sucked, man.
man, it sucked so bad because I had a parlay and I was like super confident in Stephen Thompson. I'm like, man, as long as Stephen Thompson doesn't look old, I think we're good. Damn, Stephen
But
Thompson looked fucking old. I was like, damn it. Like I hated it. I'm like, well, because I remember during the breakdown, I'm like, maybe today's a day where he doesn't look so fast or he doesn't look so clean. And I'm like, damn, today's a day where he looks fucking old. Credit to Gilbert though. It could either have been that Thompson didn't look good because yeah, age finally is catching up with him. That's what I'm leaning because Gilbert didn't look super impressive, but I'm not going to discredit Gilbert quite yet.
I am. I
I
am.
I know you are. I will say though, he executed a good game plan. He was dangerous enough to get Steven's respect. Steven literally respected nearly everything that Gilbert did, and it was super surprising. I'm like, really? Like, be a little bit more active, move a little bit more forward. That takedown in the first round was, say what you will, was brilliant from Gilbert. He really got it in Steven's head. Like, I cannot get taken down, which is probably without dicking around, of course, us making jokes, or at least me making jokes, that probably is the reason why Stephen Thompson didn't look so great. Fucking no, he's old. I don't know, man. He looks so like I don't even want to say flat footed, but flat footed for Stephen Thompson. He wasn't bouncing a lot. He wasn't throwing those lead fucking side kicks. It was like, come on, man, come on, man. But yeah, good for Gilbert. He's back on track. If they don't happen to make the Woodley versus Usman fight, which they goddamn better, I would like to see Gilbert versus Colby. That'd be awesome.
You mean wait, what? You mean
What?
Usman versus Colby?
Yeah,
Woodley's no longer Woodley's
Oh,
no
did I say
longer in the
Woodley?
UFC.
Why am
Yeah.
I thinking of Woodley? I meant Usman versus Colby. I don't know what the fuck. Oh no. Why am I subconsciously thinking of Tyron Woodley?
I don't know, man.
I
That's
I
pretty
might
weird.
I gotta go see the doctors. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a horrible fight. I'm not giving Mr. Burns any credit whatsoever. If anything, Wonderboy looked like Mr. Smithers out there. He just basically, got on all fours spread, and spread it for Mr. Burns out there. This was his fight to lose, and he lost it like an ass clown. I don't know how else to put it. Burns really had, next to nothing. The one thing that pissed me off is that when Burns was going for those, for the leg, is it the double or single legs?
Mhm.
When he got on his knees, he should have just stomped on his goddamn head. Because at the end of the fight, unless you weren't paying attention or you had one too many beers, um, Burns he hit Wonderboy on the back of the head like what was it, a dozen times or some shit at the end of the fight, right before the third round bell, and the referee's just looking at him. He's not doing or saying shit. I mean, he's just like he just push Wonderboy's head down and just like hammer fisting him on the back of the head. And I'm like, wait a fucking second. If the referee wasn't saying shit about that, then fuck. When Burns was going for those single leg or double legs, he should just stomped on his fucking head, on the goddamn mat himself. Fuck, that pissed me off. I'm like, what? Fuck this guy.
Did you
Uh,
see the Mark
I don't like.
Goddard? Mark Goddard, I think he was a referee. I think he posted it. He showed an edited version of that where every single punch that Gilbert landed was like to the
Uh-huh.
back of the shoulder, like nowhere near the head or the back of the head. So
Yeah, get the fuck
yeah,
out of here,
yeah,
Mark
yeah.
Carter.
That shit was super doctored. I saw
Yeah,
with my own damn eyes 47 shots to the back of the head.
yeah, fuck that, dude. The refereeing was horrible.
It
This
was weird.
goddamn
Yeah.
card. Yeah, but the refereeing had nothing to do with the main event.
Oh
So
no. Oh no, no, no. That main event. Conor McGregor via no contest wins against Dustin Poirier.
yeah,
Oh, that's what all our Conor fans are thinking.
yeah,
Interesting bout, man. I will say I had a lady next to me and she's like, who's gonna win the fight? And I'm like, I don't know yet, man. I don't know who's gonna win the fight. And then Conor comes out and he's like bouncing around and then he starts throwing some kicks. I'm like, he's gonna win him.
uh-huh.
And then because I'm like, oh shit, he's bouncing around throwing kicks. And then exactly when I knew Conor was gonna lose is when he threw the first fucking leg kick. I'm like, oh dear. Oh boy. It was bad because
Oh man,
when we broke it down, I'm like, maybe Connor's gonna get in his head and he's gonna mess with them and he's gonna come with a good game plan. And I put a lot of stock in Connor's shit talk. And then when that shit talk came out and he's like Jolie's wife, and I'm just thinking to myself, no one's repeating it. I'm like, oh no. So I will say this. Um, it wasn't that Dustin was like super mature, although he is more mature now, and the shit talk is easier for him to deal with. Connor's shit talk was garbage. It was horrible. And it like as much of a fan I am of Conor, it made me cringe. I'm like, dude, come on. All right, man. It's just like you're not doing well. But the fight itself, man, Conor looked good. Poirier looked good. That takedown was really the defining factor, of course. Yeah, Dustin landed some decent ground and pound. I'm not saying this because I'm like a Conor nut gobbler. I'm not Brendan Schaub. Yeah, but it wasn't like, oh my God, 10-8, even though the scorecards had it as a 10-8. Personally, I didn't see it that way. But I will say this, though. I tweeted this shit out. There was a lot of confusion as to like the 10-8 reasoning. I can say that it wasn't a 10-8 looking at it, from my perspective, not actually giving points to the round. Had I seen that round end with Conor on his ass getting punched, okay, yeah, he got dropped, not knowing that his leg or ankle snapped. He got hurt 10-8. So that's domination by Dustin Poirier based on the round. It was close in the beginning. The pendulum starts to swing over to Dustin Poirier. He's on top, landing. It doesn't matter if those were like super impactful shots or elbows. Like he is on top and he is looking like he's winning the fight. He drops Conor. This is from the perspective of a judge on ringside, and he nearly finishes him in the first round. Understandable that it's a 10-8, 100% via the judge's eyes, but in reality, not a 10-8. But yeah, man, Conor, I don't think he has the ability to change his game plan or to really continue his fighting style. What brought him to the table is gone after that leg snap. I don't think he's going to have that same bounce in his step, of course. Him throwing leg kicks was a bad idea, especially those. He was more of like a teep up the middle, side kicks, more of karate, as we've talked about. And him changing his style to something that he's not suited for was a big sign that this is bad. Like it worked from the first time when he did it against Diaz, and it worked fine. But you know what, man? It sucks to see. I know Conor is the type of guy. It's like, yeah, I'm going to keep fighting. He cannot leave the sport like that. He has to get a win at least. Maybe not Dustin. I do not want to see that fourth fight anytime soon. Maybe down the line. Maybe even if Conor comes back, proves us wrong, he strengthens that ankle up. I guess implants diamonds in there. God knows he can fucking afford it. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Conor and his recovery. I know his surgery went well. 6 months on, or not 6 months, 6 weeks on crutches. For Dustin, though, we know what's coming next. He's fighting for the belt. And what can I say about it? Like really, like he doesn't deserve it. No, let's give it to Michael Chandler again. There's no possibility of that. He's the number one contender, should technically be the champion, but here we are. Now we have a bigger fight. So Dustin really definitely made the right call. He beat Conor McGregor twice. Now I wouldn't say his star grew. To be 100% honest with you, I don't think many people are still going to be talking about the guy who beat Conor McGregor. It's more of Conor McGregor made an ass of himself, broke his ankle via kicking a guy, whoever that guy is. Oh, some guy named Poirier. Yeah, we'll see how that fight goes with him and Charles Oliveira. I've got my thoughts on it. We'll wait until that happens. I hate to say it, man, but yeah, I think Conor should 100% retire. He doesn't need to fight anymore. Injury like that, I don't see him coming back or really having much success. I will say though, if he does come back, there's one fight to make, and that's him versus Jeremy Stevens, because the promo writes itself. The tagline will be, "He'll learn my fucking name now."
Yeah, sucks for Conor. I think the move for him is probably the trilogy with Diaz at this point, somewhere down the line. Because at least there, actually, no, it doesn't really matter what Conor, unless they match him up against, I don't know, man. I honestly feel so bad for Conor. I don't have anything. I had a few things planned to say, but I've scratched them because I honestly feel bad for him at this point. Because all his plans went to shit. He's not fighting Pacquiao. He's not. He's pretty much done for the year. He's coming back next summer. Maybe at the earliest. Maybe he'll rematch Cowboy so that he can get a win. Maybe they'll bring BJ Penn back for a fight so that he can fight him. Maybe they'll get Diego Sanchez on contract for one fight for Conor. They're gonna spoon feed Conor somebody to get him back on track, because people are gonna be like, do we really want to pay? Watch this guy snap his leg. He can't really talk shit anymore. I honestly felt sorry for him at the press conference, at the weigh-ins. I guess he has the ability to fight. Sure, he's not like 40 or anything, but I think his spirit, I think it's broken. Dustin Poirier, he's he really did nothing wrong. I mean, he didn't really do a ton right, I would say, where he dominated McGregor and shit. I think he cruised a little bit, compared to the last fight. I think he probably would have knocked him out had it gone into the second and third round. But I think he eased up on the gas for this fight a little bit, and I think if he eases up on the gas, I think Oliveira is gonna choke him out, because on the ground, Oliveira, he is way better than Dustin. So Dustin's chance to beat Oliveira is definitely on his feet. So he's got to sharpen his game up. If he goes in the way that he went in with Conor to Oliveira, then I think Oliveira is going to have an easy night with him. Sucks that Oliveira is not a draw, but it is what it is.
But that's been us from TigerBomb MMA Recap. Please leave comment, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate all that. Johnny and Jose, we'll catch you at the next fight.